Hey, let's talk about autoimmune disease today. What it is, how it might be messing with you, how to manage it, and a little peek to what's going on with me and how I am attempting to manage my autoimmune issues. Welcome to Purple Penguin Fitness. I am the founder, Jenn V, and around here, fitness is fun, first of all, effective, second of all, convenient, third of all, and affordable. So it eliminates all of your excuses. We have a good time. No athletic experience required. In fact, I consider myself a gym class misfit and somebody who has never been athletic, especially when it comes to team sports. No. But in the right environment, with the right thing and the right people, the right community, then it becomes really super fun and enjoyable and something you might actually look forward to instead of dreading. That's the name of the game. All right, let's get into today's discussion. We are filming live on Facebook Live. Hello, if you're watching live. Thank you for being here. You may be watching the replay or you may be seeing this on YouTube. Either way, please leave a comment, say hi, let me know you are here, share it with somebody you know who is suffering with some of the things we are going to talk about. Here we go. Autoimmune. What the heck does that mean? What is it? That's hard to say. I am not a doctor. I am a personal trainer and somebody who suffers with these issues. So I'm going to be sharing with you my personal experience and as always, I encourage you to get medical advice if you think this is something. Lexi, no. Sorry, she's sniffing the microphone. I don't know if that's causing static. No. My mascot, Lexi. She likes to steal the show. All right, so autoimmune is basically your body's kind of fighting itself. Your immune system is on high alert for whatever reason and is attacking what does not necessarily need to be attacked for very broad layman's terms summary. And it can affect you in so many ways. There are, I don't want to say countless because clearly there is a limit, but there are, I want to say over 100 different autoimmune conditions. There's a lot. Anything from the biggest one that I've found in my research is lupus. That seems to be the most extreme, and MS. But also like rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune condition. Thyroid conditions are autoimmune related. Hashimoto's is a thyroid autoimmune disease. Celiac disease, which I have. One of the things I have, I think. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Is when your body freaks out at gluten-containing grains and attacks them like they're an invader and they don't belong and freaks your immune system out and causes all sorts of problems in your guts and how you absorb nutrients or don't absorb nutrients in your food. That's probably the least intense, if you will, or the least harmful because you change your diet and you're fine. I've been living without any autoimmune conditions or had been for several years by following a gluten-free diet. Over the last few years, I'm jumping ahead, I'll come back. Over the last few years, something has changed and now there's new symptoms and new issues and above and beyond the gluten and the celiac. There's other stuff going on and that tends to happen, especially in women. Autoimmune is much more prevalent in women, especially when you add in the hormone stuff that happens over 40. That it's like the perfect storm of stuff. Stress can affect it. Hello. Lifestyle can affect it. There's so many issues, but here's the problem. It's super hard to get an accurate diagnosis because a lot of the symptoms overlap with a lot of other things and you appear to be perfectly normal. My doctor's I've been fighting for a few years to figure out what's wrong with me. Actually, more than a few. I've been fighting forever. My whole life, there's always been something wrong that nobody could figure out. It's changed over time. But at the moment, which is a sign of autoimmune, at the moment, I appear to be healthy, right? My weight is pretty good, even though I am not happy with it. I've gained like 15 pounds over the last 2 years. that's a red flag for me. But technically, I'm not considered obese, and my BMI is okay, and I look physically fit-ish. My blood pressure is good, my blood sugar is good, my cholesterol is good, like all the typical things they look for. I appear to be healthy, especially for, 43-year-old woman. I'm actually looking pretty good on paper, but I know something's wrong. So that's a sign that it's autoimmune related, when they can't figure out what's wrong, but something's wrong. My doctor was trying to suggest that it's mental, that it's depression, and I'm an advocate for mental health. I have a degree in psychology. I thought I was going to become a mental health counselor until I fell in love with fitness and changed my mind. I want you to get help if you think it is depression or anxiety or something mental related. Side note, your brain is an organ. And if there's something wrong with any other organ in your body, you would get it checked out. For some reason, we think we can control our brain, right? Because that's where our thoughts are. Like you have control over what's happening in there. You can just think your way out of it. It's not necessarily true. So that's a side note. If you think it's a mental health thing, get it checked out. That is a slight factor for me. I do have a history of depression when I was a teenager, and I struggle every winter with seasonal affective disorder, but that's a lifelong thing that I know how to manage, or I have a pretty good idea at how to manage, and I've been doing okay this far. But it was more than that. It was more than the blues. It so much more. So that's the thing. You've got to know yourself, and you've got to know what's abnormal. Like, this is different than usual. Unexplained, ridiculous fatigue and brain fog is my biggest symptom. Can't think straight. I stumble to find the right word. I lose my train more than usual. This is more than just like mom brain. This is like, I think I'm losing my mind. And just so exhausted. So exhausted. And this is why it looks like depression, right? Because it's like, I don't want to do the things that I used to want to do. I don't want to go out. I don't want to hang out with my friends. Like, I just don't want to do anything. I can't concentrate on reading, and I love to read. Read the same paragraph or the same sentence over and over, and I'm not absorbing it. Those are my biggest symptoms, but there's also joint pain. I get achy, I get stiff, I start feeling old, right? Older than my age. I start like, this is what it means to be over 40, and that's not okay with me. Because I believe that fitness is the fountain of youth, and if you use it or lose it, right? I'm going to keep using it so that it stays active and stays as healthy as possible. I don't want to start falling apart now. That's not okay with me. Joint pain, skin conditions, rashes, dry skin. Just if you have like symptom after symptom that is not like related to anything else, and you can't figure out why this thing is happening, and the doctors can't figure it out, and my doctor diagnosed me with she's like, I think it's stress and hormones. It's just the over 40 women syndrome. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not an answer. It's not okay. I do not accept that this is the way life is going to be, or that it's only going to get worse from here. No, not okay with me. So that's my point for today. If you're struggling with this kind of stuff, you're not crazy, and you're so not alone. Some of the other red flags for me was my white blood cell count goes kind of high sometimes. Hello? Because my immune system is on high alert, freaking out. Duh. My doctor didn't think that was a problem. I'm in the process of finding a new doctor, by the way. My thyroid has been off on occasion, but not consistently, and not enough to like cause a panic, anemia, all sorts of things related to vitamin deficiencies, right? Because my gut is unhealthy from the celiac. Although I was living for years symptom-free. I had it under control, so something new was flaring me up. But gut issues, whether it be bloating, constipation, diarrhea, whatever, any kind of gut issue, indigestion, like all of these things that we just give a blanket diagnosis to, like, I have GI problems, I have IBS, I have chronic fatigue. What is it? Why? Where's it coming from? That's the point, is we need to get down to the bottom line and find out why. or at least how to manage it without tons and tons of meds and just covering up the symptoms. So that's my rant of the day, because this makes me angry. Okay, let's get to the next point, which was, exercise. Ta-da! Because everybody just says, eat better and exercise and you'll feel better, and that's the magic solution for everything. I happen to agree to a point. That's my life. That's what I do. Exercise literally changed my life. Well, fitness in general, exercise and nutrition. I'm a completely, even though I feel like crap lately, I'm an entirely different person now than I was 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm still healthier now, even though I don't like the way I feel, than I was then. So, but it's not always the right thing. And sometimes you think you're doing the right thing and you could be making it worse. I'm going to do an entire episode on my marathon escapade and how it made me so much worse. I self-inflicted a lot of this on myself, but I hate saying this, I hate admitting this out loud, this hurts, by doing the Boston Marathon. And I knew it. I had a gut feeling like, this is going to be bad. I don't think my body can take this. But I'm stubborn, and I wanted to do it, and I was like, I'm fit, I can do it, I can do anything I put my mind to, right? If I train and I do blah, 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 it'll be fine. And it wasn't fine. And I've been recovering for 2 years. That really is what set me over the edge when I look back. So too much of a good thing is not a good thing. You can make it worse because exercise is a stress on your body. That's the point. We stress it out to a point, then we let it recover so that it becomes stronger, right? You tax it out and then back off, and then it gets stronger. And then the next time, you can do a little better. And then right? The point is causing stress to your body to force it to respond and to react and to get better. But if you do too much, it doesn't get better. It's just in chronic stress mode. If you don't allow yourself enough rest, if you don't eat the right foods. And what are the right foods? That's another topic. We'll talk about that one later this week. Sometimes you think you can be eating all the right foods, right? Maybe you're following, there's so many different approaches, but whatever. Let's say you're following a high fat, no carb. Let's say you're following a low fat, high carb. Let's say you're following a raw. Let's say you're like whatever it is. You might think you're eating the right thing, and there could be something you're eating that's causing symptoms. Food sensitivities are huge in the autoimmune world. A lot of times what we eat affects the autoimmune conditions. Sugar is the biggest culprit. Gluten and other grains are next. Dairy is next. You may have heard this before, which is why, like the paleo and the Whole30 type programs or philosophies tend to help a lot of people because you're removing those things. However, some people have negative reactions or food sensitivities to some healthy type foods like kale or beans or nuts or whatever it might be. I can't have, most grains don't agree with me, even the gluten-free ones. I cannot have oats. I cannot have quinoa. I keep trying. So my most recent flare was kind of self-inflicted because I dabbled with oats again. It's been a while. Let me try it and see what happens. Maybe my body can handle it now. It cannot. No, made me sick for 3 days. So even healthy foods can make you sick if you're not in tune to your body and how it feels and how it reacts and what you're eating and what you're doing. It takes a ridiculous amount of time and attention and detail to figure this stuff out, which is why it's so frustrating and so hard to get an answer and a diagnosis. But I promise you it is so worth it today, right? And I'm like, whoa, life is good again when I stop eating stuff that I know makes me sick, and when I stop trying to push myself past what my body is telling me it can handle. So I'm one of those people over the last several years that has gotten to the point where it's not the mind game anymore. When you first start exercising, it's the mind over body, right? Push yourself. Your body can do it. You got to get your mind in the game. Go, right? Now I'm the opposite. Now my mind is like, I can do this. I can do this. Let's go. Let's go. And my body is like, no, chick, stop. Like, slow your roll, back it up, and hang on a hot second. And that's really, really hard for me because I'm stubborn and I'm stubborn and I'm stubborn and I'm stubborn. And I know what I want and I don't like when I can't do it. So it's humbling, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You've really got to take the time. It takes on average 10 years to get an autoimmune diagnosis, because you play the game, right? And try to figure it out from the traditional medical perspective. And it takes a very long time. It's very frustrating. And you might not even have an autoimmune disease, so to speak, but you could be having food sensitivities or chronic stress or hormone or something that's causing these type of symptoms, and your body's still going to react. Any symptom, I've been saying this for years, any symptom is a red flag. It's not aging. It's not whatever. It's not okay to live in pain and just accept it as part of life. If your body is reacting in some way, headache, skin rash, knee pain, whatever, it's telling you that something's wrong. The problem is we ignore it and we think it's just part of life and it's just part of being over 40 and it's whatever. No. We need to listen to our bodies better and give it what it wants. Not what so-and-so tells us is right, but we each, one-on-one, individually, need to listen to our own bodies and figure out what is best for us. And that's why it's so ridiculously hard, because the answer is different for everybody. So right now for me, I'm attempting to follow the AIP diet, which is autoimmune protocol. However, it's ridiculously limiting, even more so than I was already limiting myself. Oh, hi, Craig. Any symptom is a red flag. Yeah, it is. It's your body saying, like, hold up, something's wrong here. This is not okay. Like, this is not normal. What was I saying? Oh, the autoimmune protocol diet. I'm already pretty limited, right? I'm already dairy-free. I'm already gluten-free. I'm already mostly grain-free. I'm already mostly vegan, not 100%, but primarily plant-based. So the autoimmune protocol diet removes anything that could potentially be a food sensitivity. So nuts and beans and seeds and legumes and certain vegetables. Yeah, it's very limiting. Oh, soy and corn. Of course, sugar. It removes a lot of extra stuff. So at the moment, I'm kind of easing into it. Generally, an elimination diet has you eliminate all of the possible offenders, reintroduce them one by one, and see which one sets you off. I do it backwards. I remove one thing at a time and see if I feel better. It's just easier to manage for me. It's more, it's less intimidating. It's more maintainable. So at the moment, I'm eliminating soy and all grains except rice. So I'm definitely dropping the oat again. No worries. Hi, Craig. And quinoa. So I lose my train of thought easily. And sugar, which is an issue for me. But those years when I was feeling really fabulous, if we go back 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was eating no sugar. And that's when I felt my best. So I know that that's a huge factor for me. And sugar is a highly inflammatory food. So if you're feeling achy, stiff, raw, just kind of bloated, good chance you have inflammation. So avoiding highly inflammatory foods. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to be more strict with what I eat, more careful about what I eat. And I've scaled back on my exercise. Even though gaining weight is pissing me off and I want to go really hard and fight it, fighting it is not working. It's just making me more tired and more exhausted and more sore and more achy. Oh, sorry, my computer froze. So I am backing off and doing more things like on my mat. I'm just stretching and moving, and of course, you know I love Pyo. But even Pyo, I've modified back a little bit. I do it a little less intense right now. I'm just doing things that make me feel good physically. So mentally, a good, tough, strong, aggressive, intense, sweaty workout makes me feel like a rock star, right? Mentally gives me that boost and that empowerment. But my body is like, no, not right now. That's not okay with me. We can't do that right now. So I'm listening, I'm trying, my stubborn self is trying to listen to my body and back off. Even though I want to do the intense stuff, it's just not right for me right now. Until I get to a point where I'm feeling better consistently and I go a good stretch without a flare up, and I physically have the energy and the stamina, not just mentally, to actually do it. So it's a head game for me right now. It's a mental shift. So here's the bottom line. Exercise is good. Even if you're exhausted and tired and drag yourself out of bed, exercise is good, but it needs to be low intensity and fairly short. When you're in the middle of some sort of chronic exhaustion, fatigue, something, I call it a flare up, right? When I'm flaring in the middle of an autoimmune reaction, I need to move, but it needs to be really little. That's when I implement my 5-minute rule, where I'll make myself do something for 5 minutes, and it's something gentle. It's a warm up. So like a moving stretch routine, dynamic stretching, something easy and gentle. Maybe I'll take a walk with my dog just for 10 minutes, 5 minutes out, 5 minutes back. Just something to move without the intensity or the pressure or the stress of an actual workout. And then there are days when maybe you just allow yourself to be a bump on a log and really completely, totally rest without the stress and the guilt that comes along with that. Because if you're stressing and guilty about it the whole time, you're not really resting. So that's another piece that I'm personally working on. All right, my friend, I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have comments and questions. I'm going to be talking about this all this week. So this is the first episode on this topic, and there will be 2 more coming on Wednesday and Friday this week, live on Facebook, or of course you can catch the replay on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. Let me know how you feel about this, comments, questions, if this is something you struggle with, if this was helpful. And again, please remember to share it with somebody who may need to hear this, because I'm learning that this really is kind of like an epidemic. The more I research it and the more I look for information, the more people I find suffering with this. It's just, it's time that we get a handle on what's going on. Oh, Craig says I look good. Thank you. I feel better. My energy is back somewhat. I'm feeling fresh and ready to go for today. One day at a time. That's another key piece. Good reminder. Is on the days when you do feel good, try not to go balls to the walls and stress yourself out, because then you'll crash the next day. I need to be super careful of that. So on days like today where I'm like, woo, I'm back, I feel alive again, I need to be careful not to overdo it, or I will crash tomorrow. All right, until next time, thank you for being here. Be well, take care of yourself, and God bless.